So let's talk a bit about resistance. This is the biggest mistake that I see people doing who are planning to push for platinum for the first time. And that is building revivers in resistance who just don't have enough resistance to actually pull it off. And today in this video I want to expand on this topic a bit more, because I often explain this to people and it would be nice if I had a video that I could link them to it every time. But let's actually first look at the numbers so we get a better impression how it actually works in this game. And probably many of you know this, but resistance and accuracy aren't actually equally weighted in this game. And this chart kind of explains that. And it's probably a bit confusing, but the short version that you can take from here is that let's say that the enemy has 42 more resistance than you have accuracy. So you're at 100 accuracy and enemy is at 142 resistance. At this point you might think that you will not land the debuff and you have lost this fight. But actually at this point it's 50-50 chance, because accuracy just has insane advantage in this game. And then let's say that both of you have the exact same number, so you are at 100 and they are at 100. The one that is trying to land the debuff with accuracy has 92.5% chance to actually land the debuff or lockout, meaning that accuracy has insane advantage in this game. And that's actually not all, like it gets way worse. So let's actually get into the other issues with it. So in the Masteries, first of all, both accuracy and resistance get 10 from the tier 1 and 50 from the tier 6 mastery. But then resistance doesn't get anything from the other ones. Now you could say that this one can give something sometimes, but it's not very practical and you can kind of forget about it. But actually, accuracy gets easily 20 from the tier 2 mastery, and then another 16 from the tier 3 mastery. So we're talking about 36 from masteries, and then 42 from just how it is calculated in this game. So this basically offsets the aura that you might have, assuming that you're using a good resistance aura like Siphi aura. And at this point you're equal if you have as good gear and you're using aura. Then you're at equal standpoint. But then everybody has insane perception gear in this game, because at this point faction wars is like early game content and everybody gets insane amount of perception every day for years. And if you're someone like me who has been playing the entire time since the release, you probably have triple or quad accuracy rolls on every single item piece. I can tell out of top of my head that the only item that I don't have triple roll is boots. I don't have triple accuracy. But on all of the other slots I have multiple triples, and I think I have quad on all of the top pieces. But even if they don't have like ultra insane gear, or let's say that they got a bit lucky with their accuracy, they will definitely still have decent perception gear. There is just no way that they don't if they have played this game for a while. And when you build something like Warlord, you of course put all of your best perception gear on it, and you put all of your best clips on it as well. And average Warlord that you're gonna meet in Platinum, and I mean average, I'm not talking about good Warlords, but they are gonna be around 800 to 850 accuracy. Now if you really want to go as high as you can easily get way over 900, and you could even get to 1000. But 800 to 850 is something that you should always expect the enemy warlords that aren't built on speed to have. And most people, if you just have one lockout champion, you will build it in high accuracy. If you have two, then you will build one in speed and one in accuracy. But if you happen to get lockout champion in this game, you should expect those champions to be 800 plus accuracy easily. And so that means that if you're attempting to use resistance builds, you probably should have at least 850 plus resistance, and that is in the low end. Like, when I see top platinum players using resistance revivers in defense, and people do use those builds, but not always, it is kind of rarely, but when they do use them, we're talking about like 900 plus resistance, like 900 to 950. But if we're talking about more realistic builds, then I will say that you need to have at least 850 plus resistance if you're considering Reviver in it. And you might be able to do it, you might not, but in practice it is almost impossible to do it without Faction Guardians, Blessings and Empowerment. It's not something that you can really do with gear alone. Often I see people building the Revivers in like 5 to 700 resistance, and then they are asking me that why does my Duchess not have any resistance in it? And it's always gonna get locked out. And some of you are not gonna like what I'm saying now, but if your Reviver is 700 or even 750 resistance, it's gonna get locked out as often as my Duchess does in Arena. And that's just how it goes in practice. I'm definitely not saying that resistance builds aren't viable, but I don't have good enough gear to do it. And it really isn't about gear, because you will basically need Empowerment and Faction Guardians and insane gear in order to do it. So I would think twice about building your Revivers in resistance. If you can do them, you definitely should use them, but even in that case, it's not like you have to use them. You could build them fast as well, or you could look at other methods than resistance revivers. Especially in the current meta, when there is something like Marichka, resistance revivers just aren't that popular. And the simple reason is that they are very hard to pull off and very risky, and you have to sacrifice all of the other stats for it, and you probably have to use a team specifically in order to support your squishy resistance reviver. So something like Harima or Ursuga or Necret to protect them. And those are good choices, and you might use them anyway, but just some food for thought that in practice probably you shouldn't use resistance revivers. I'm sure tons of people are gonna disagree with me on this video, because I know that this is like a touchy subject to many people, and I've had many arguments about this. And if I'm wrong in your opinion, then please explain me in the comments and we can talk about it. But anyway, that's it for this video, and see you next time.